And I wasn't really interested in, when I say interested, I had no desire to investigate the police or the prosecution service or anything like that. But in 2001, some criminals tried to murder me. And it was after I cancelled the security contract worth about 300 million rand. And they tried to murder me, and they brought an urgent application in the High Court to have the contract cancellation set aside. And then at that moment in time, for reasons which I later found out were corruption reasons, the then Commissioner of Police, Jackie Selebi, got involved. And he took steps to neutralize me from cancelling the contract. And one thing led to another. And after a few years, I realized that actually he was engaged in corruption. So I decided it would be in the public interest to not have a chief of police that was corrupt. So I assembled several lever arch files of evidence, and I handed it over to the Scorpions. And they went and dealt with that matter. And I think it's a matter of public record, Chairman, that after a 3-year trial, Jackie Selebi was sentenced to 15 years in prison for corruption. And I can say that I probably spent about 7 years of my life providing evidence for that investigation to the Scorpions.
That is dealt with a bit later on in your affidavit, and we'll get there. In your affidavit, you also mentioned that you hold citizenship of 3 countries, and you discuss that at paragraph 3 of your affidavit.
That's correct, Chairman. I'm first was a citizen of Ireland, and then I became a citizen of Great Britain, and then I became a citizen of South Africa. So when I became a citizen of South Africa, I already had citizenship of Ireland and the United Kingdom. And yeah.
Where were you born?
I was actually born in England of Irish parents, but I was brought up in Ireland. So when I grew up, I considered myself Irish, so I took an Irish passport. And then later I obtained a British passport because, having been born in Britain, I was entitled to have a British passport. And I saw no reason why I shouldn't have these passports.
A question had been posed or asked whether the reason why you hold citizenship of 3 countries is that you are or might be an agent or a foreign agent, or you're working or doing work for foreign entities, countries.
I think, with all respect, Chairman, I've been in this country now 40 years, and I can categorically state that I have not performed any foreign agent activities in that 40 years. And in fact, my loyalty is to South Africa. If we go back to 1995, as an example, one of my daughters, a young girl then, she's obviously fully adult now, we were putting on at work, we were putting on for the Rugby World Cup. I gave all my staff the afternoon off from 11 in the morning, and we got one of these big screen TVs, which was like a projector, because LCD TVs didn't exist then. And I set up a competition amongst the staff that whoever could come along as the best dressed rugby player or rugby supporter would get a prize. And I said that they could invite their family or children to this function. And I brought, at that stage, I only had 2 children. I now have 7. I brought my 2 daughters with me. Roshin and Sinead. And Roshin was a very strong rugby supporter. And she came along dressed as a Springbok. And one of the guys there said, yes, but you're Irish. So do you support Ireland or do you support South Africa? And she said, actually, I support 3 teams. First, I support South Africa because I'm South African. Secondly, I support Ireland because I'm Irish. And the guy said, but what's the 3rd team that you support? She said, whoever's playing against England. So that gives you the flavor. And that was in 1995, which is, my math's not, 31 years ago. So 31 years ago, we all considered ourselves South African. And I have children that were born here and went to school here, and they considered themselves South African. And I would consider it criminal for me to support a foreign government. It's very easy to have foreign passports because it's very convenient to be able to travel around the world. Unfortunately, because of the levels of corruption in South Africa, the South African passport is not what it used to be. But an Irish passport gets you into any country in Europe. And the South African passport will not get you into any country in Europe without standing in queues and filling in forms and obtaining visas and so on and so forth. So the multiple passport story, Chairman, is a convenience. And I have taken the oath a short while ago, and I want to remind everybody that having taken that oath, I'm stating clearly under oath, I have never acted as a foreign agent in this country.
And just while we're on that, you mentioned that your businesses in property development and also the forensic company O'Sullivan, Brosnan and Associates effectively cross-subsidize your NGO work for forensics for justice. Apart from that, do you receive any other funding, especially foreign funding?
Chairman, we don't receive any foreign funding. On the website, forensicsforjustice.org, we are fully transparent and we publish our accounts. So from 2015 until present time, anybody can go on and look at our accounts. And when you see the amount of money that comes into our accounts, which is shown in those audited accounts, you will see actually we run that on a shoestring. And in most years, we're lucky if we get 100,000 in donations. And most of the donations we get, Chairman, are a man in the street, 500 Rand here, 500 Rand there. We don't have any big donors. We had one big donor who paid us over a period of about a year, I think 700,000 Rand. And that was something that that company had chosen to do as a sponsorship. And that was a few years ago. But we have absolutely to our knowledge, no overseas donors.
Now, again, maybe just going a bit off script, but because we at the point about your businesses, Ms. Sarah Jane Trent, her name has been mentioned. Tell us a little bit about her. Do you know her? Did she work for you? What was your relationship with her? Does she still work for you? What did she do when she worked for you? If she
Chairman, I can't remember the year now, but it would probably been about 2013 or 2014, somewhere like this. Sarah Jane Trent applied to the company for a position as an intern. She had completed her law degree, but she hadn't completed her articles and she hadn't taken her board exams. And she applied for a position as an intern. So we gave her a 1-year contract.
And is this for O'Sullivan, Brosnan and Associates?
Yes, at that time it's the same company, but at that time it was called Paul O'Sullivan and Associates. Because I'm moving towards pension, I decided to take on a partner a few years ago, and now it's called O'Sullivan Brosnan and Associates. So my plan would be within the next year or two that, if God gives me the grace to stay around till then, that I will go on pension and the company can still carry on running. But it was Paul O'Sullivan Associates. She applied for a position as a intern doing legal research work. We have an in-house corporate counsel who's a lawyer. And at that time, I gave her a one-year contract. At the end of the one-year contract, she wanted to continue working, and her work performance was acceptable. It was very good. And then I signed a permanent contract with her. So she became a permanent employee as defined in the Labour Relations Act. And the condition of employment was that within 2 years, she complete her articles and be registered as an attorney, and also complete and take her board exams to become a certified fraud examiner, which I already was. And she then, she did that. So she became an attorney and a certified fraud examiner. And then that coincided with my decision to form this non-profit company, Forensics for Justice. So I invited her to be the executive director. I was the founder of it, but I invited her to be the executive director of Forensics for Justice, which meant she was the person that would have to assist with those pro bono investigations that we would carry out. But she effectively reported to me, and she carried out my instructions.
And what's the current?
Just a moment, Honorable Matthias.
Pardon? I didn't hear that.
Thank you, Chair. Can the evidence leader tell us on which page of the statement we are on, and particularly on the matter of Sarah Jane, because I didn't see it in the statement. Thanks.
Okay. Point taken.
As I respond, Chair, I did say it's not right. It's not in the statement right now, but I prefaced my remark by saying I'm going a bit off script because we are talking about your company and the non-profit organization, and the name of Sarah Trent has come up. Can you now at this stage just, and that's what the witness has been doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'll continue, Chair.
Honorable Matthias.
Chair, the evidence leader, since he started, has not even said we are on paragraph 1, we are on paragraph 2. He's not leading. He's always going off script. We don't know where we are following. I mean, there's just a basic thing on leading evidence. On paragraph 2, you are talking about this. Can you expand? That's all we're asking so we can follow properly. Thank you, Chair. And we raised this even last week, and he's doing the same thing again.
Advocate Arendse, may you please repeat what you said?
Thank you, Chair. So we were still discussing your interests, your business interests, and your non-profit organization, referring to one in which is still in paragraph 1 of your statement.
Before you proceed, I just wanted you to explain to Honorable Matthias what you are doing so that all of us are able to follow you.
Sorry, Chair.
Yeah, I was saying that if you can explain